Hello YouTube, I'm Jack Clark, Deacon Musketeer, coming to you with another video here. How are you? So, in the OCG there have been a couple of rule changes. The rule changes, of course, being pendulum monsters. We've got the fact that we can use 2 field spells at once. The player who starts off the duel can't draw during their draw phase, and yada yada yada. We've got quite a few rule changes. But we have, of course, the Dark Strike Fighter card eraser, which changes how the card actually works. Now, I'm okay with that rule change because we don't exactly have a traditional format. Having a traditional format would imply we had some kind of support and could actually play in tournaments of the traditional format, but we can't. We can only really play in tournaments that are advanced format. I mean, any others are really just casual format, and a lot of us want to try and play competitively, or at least be in the mindset of a competitive player. So advanced format is the only way to go. So editing cards so that they can come off the ban list, so they can be used in advanced format play, I'm not too fussed with. I'm a bit ends with it though. I'm kind of flip-flopping between them, simply because, I mean, like a card like Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End, I kind of don't want it to come off the ban list because of the prestige it has and the power it holds. So, I mean, like, eventually, I mean, power creep will facilitate the fact that it probably could come off the ban list, or we'd have a plethora of cards and effects that could either counteract it, make it irrelevant, or just we've got worse stuff to deal with. So I'm kind of in a mixed there, really, because I don't want everything to come off the ban list if we just change its effect. I think that completely defeats the point of the ban list. I think we're allowed to have cards which are too overpowered, they go on the ban list, and you can't use them in advanced format play because those effects are unhealthy. However, there was the rumour, of course, with Debris Dragon getting an effect change that meant it could be used with level 4 monsters, but it couldn't be used with anything above level 4, which meant Dragon Warriors weren't able to use it particularly. However, whether or not that rumour is true or not, it would go against the whole kind of changing them to make them so they're not broken, because Debris Dragon in no way, shape or form is broken, and changing such a minor part of the card just changes its playability to make it completely different and make it a different card, which I would be against completely, since there was nothing wrong with the card in the first place. But there is one change that is coming into the OCG, don't know if it's coming into the TCG anytime soon, but it's a really good change which I think is fantastic, which comes under the umbrella of changing card effects for clarification. Now, there are 2 types of effects I'm going to talk about. Effects that conclude during the end phase, and effects that conclude at the end of the turn. Now, both of them pretty much semantically mean the same thing, but actually they're not. They work differently, because an effect that is only until the end of the turn does actually resolve during the end phase. So it's not at the end of the turn, like it would suggest. It is actually a bit before then, which is kind of confusing. So what they are doing in the OCD is they are foregoing the during the end phase completely. Hundreds of cards have their effects and conclude during the end phase, and now they're all going to become at the end of the turn that they will conclude, and that's when they will resolve as well, which I'm all for, and this changes hundreds of cards. What Giraffe? Yes, until the end of the turn, and it changes it and it makes it better. This makes a lot of cards better and makes it much more easier for us to understand. And not just What Giraffe, which are really awkward cards. We have stuff like Effect Veiler, which is going to be affected by this change, and they're going to become, and lots of cards are going to become either better or worse because of this change. But it's a change that I'm really up for, because it means that it's clarified and like we don't have semantic differences. That's one thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that semantics mean everything. I mean, literally, missing the timing is bullshit, simply because it means you literally, the way you find out if a card misses timing is whether or not it says when or if or you can or not, and a combination of those 3 phrases or words. It's bullshit. It's semantics. We need to clear it up. We need to make this game a little bit less daunting to anybody who's starting off and not knowing where, oh, okay, this one word makes the entire difference with whether or not this effect is good or not. It's bullshit. I don't like it. But this change in the OCD I'm all for, and I am welcoming it. So that's pretty much the video. So tell me what you think about the OCG changing it from during the end phase to at the end of the turn for all of the effects, no matter what. I'm pretty for it, but I want to know what you think. And also, what do you think about card erasers? So, of course, we know that Dark Strike Fighter has now changed and is now a completely different card in the OCG and works differently and is isn't any good anymore. But if they were to change a card on the ban list, what would you change and what change would you give them to them? Of course, Magical Scientist getting a once per turn limit on it would be one of them, but that's only one of them. What do you think? Tell me so in the comments down below, or as a video response. That's pretty much it, guys. Yesterday I went to the bank and a old lady said that I look like Daniel Radcliffe. In the comments, do I look like Daniel Radcliffe? Because the girlfriend doesn't agree. I'm not sure.
I can't see it.
She can't see it, but can you? So in the comments down below as a video response. That's pretty much it. More videos coming out soon. And I'm sorry that I talked too fast. Someone pointed that out again. But I ain't changing for nobody. Not you, not her. And that's pretty much all. Bye.